positioned correctly, you basically have like a zone of raindrops, which is the rainbow. If they're in the precise place, then this reflection takes place. I'm guessing that's the thing that happens. Okay, that's my...
Illustrations I've never seen before.
This is the perspective of a rainbow from a single raindrop.
And the best animations ever created on the subject. Because I promise you, almost every explanation out there
Double rainbow
is an oversimplification. For example, if raindrops spread white light into colors like a prism, then why do you never see a rainbow when looking in the direction of the sun? Or why is it darker above a rainbow than under it? How can you make a rainbow disappear with sunglasses? What's going on here? Why is this rainbow so much smaller than usual? And how did this phenomenon directly lead to a Nobel Prize? Oh yeah, we're going deep on this one because the full explanation is so much more satisfying than anything you've seen before. To make a rainbow, you need three things: raindrops, the sun, and you, an observer.
Okay, this is one of those experiments that seems so simple, but I've never seen anyone do it before. I have a glass sphere, and that represents my raindrop. Because as we've learned in previous videos, raindrops, of course, are essentially spherically shaped. Just preparing the particulate so that I can see the laser beams. Over here, I have a laser, and that laser beam represents a ray from the sun.
Rays of light from the sun reach a raindrop essentially parallel to each other because the sun is so far away. When light strikes the sphere, some of it reflects back off the front surface, and some is transmitted into the sphere. Then at the back, again, some of the light reflects off the back surface, and some is transmitted. Every time light goes from one medium into another, some of it will be reflected and some transmitted. And exactly how much depends on the angle of the light, its polarization, and the nature of the two media. This is actually helpful here because I can use the reflections to make sure the laser is lined up properly.
I think I've got this red laser lined up so it's hitting the middle of the sphere and it's reflecting here, but some of the light goes through and some of the light reflects at the back surface and then some of the light goes through to the wall.
Now I'm going to keep the laser horizontal and move it up the sphere. So let's call the distance from the central axis the impact parameter. As I move the laser up, the reflection off the front surface goes up. It's just bouncing off that curved surface. And I can tell you, this is a simple, boring reflection. Nothing interesting happens with it. It's not involved in rainbows, so it's there, but we're basically going to ignore it for the rest of the video. What's much more interesting is the reflection off the back surface.
Now here comes that ray here. This spot is on the table.
As the laser moves up, it goes down. In fact, the whole beam inside the sphere bends down. That's because as the light enters the sphere, it slows down, and so it refracts. But why does light slow down when it enters a dense medium like glass? Well, I think a lot of people can tell you that light is an electromagnetic wave without really thinking about what that means. You know the electric field around a charged balloon that pulls on your hair or makes it stick to a wall? And the magnetic field around a bar magnet that makes iron filings line up? Well, light is what happens if you could rip the electric field off the charges, the magnetic field off the magnet, smush them together, and send them out traveling through space. Sort of. I mean, in practice, electromagnetic waves are made by accelerating charges, like by wiggling them up and down. Then the changing electric and magnetic fields they create team up as light and head off on their own. The clearest explanation I know of for how light is slowed down in a medium comes from Grant over at 3Blue1Brown. I asked him if I could summarize his explanation for this video, and he graciously agreed. So when those electromagnetic waves encounter charges in a medium, like those in the first layer of our sphere, the light pushes them back and forth. You can think of each charge as a little mass on a spring, and the changing electric and magnetic fields cause it to vibrate at the same frequency as the light. But now you have wiggling, that is, accelerating charges, so they too must create their own electromagnetic waves. And the net electromagnetic field is just a sum of the incident wave plus this new wave. The result is almost exactly like the original wave, except it is shifted back slightly. It receives a phase kick, and each layer of the material adds another phase kick. So the net effect of all this is the wavelength of the radiation decreases in the new medium. And since the frequency stays the same, a shorter wavelength decreases the speed of light through the material. The speed of light in a vacuum divided by the speed of light in a medium is called the refractive index. It's around 1.5 for glass and 1.33 for water. So when light enters a new medium at an angle, the part of the wave crests that enter the new medium first slow down first, and this changes the angle of all the wave crests. And since the direction of a beam of light is perpendicular to the wave crests, this means the light changes direction. So to recap, light causes charges to wiggle, so they create their own electromagnetic wave, which gives the light a phase kick, shortening its wavelength, which slows it down, and so it bends. There's a simple mathematical expression that relates the angles of incidence and refraction to the indexes of refraction of the two media. It's known as Snell's law, even though it was independently discovered by a handful of people some well before Snell. And this is what we're seeing in the sphere. The higher the laser hits the sphere...
Right. Go brush my teeth and get ready for bed. Att I saw your message. Oh, your message is gone. Your previous message, it looked like authentication with Twitch, so you might want to mod your bot. What else could work? Make sure you have like a two-factor authentication, maybe, or something. I'm getting a certification here. Yes. Make sure the API is. Oh, my PC clock is wrong now. That could be it. I guess it could be. I don't know. I don't know if that would be the problem or not. I'm guessing the problem is Berkey. But yeah, you can check or try to fix your time. That might work as well.
The larger the angle of incidence, and hence the more it bends down due to refraction. Most of this light exits out the back of the sphere, but some of it is reflected. And it's this reflected ray that we can see coming out the front of the sphere below the incident beam. Now, I want to graph the angle of this reflected ray as I move the beam up the sphere. When the laser is dead center, the reflected beam comes straight back at the source, so let's call that 0 degrees. Then as I move the laser up, this angle increases. So the light's coming back at 5 degrees, then 10 degrees, and it keeps increasing the higher I go. But now we come to the critical point. Watch this spot on the table. As I move the incident beam up, this dot is moving in. The reflected ray is coming closer and closer and closer. But there's a certain point right there where it stops coming closer. Look at that. And even as I keep moving this beam higher and higher, it doesn't get any closer.
Yes, it's the API key that's incorrect. It's what I think, right? It's the oath token, I think. I'm gonna test it first. If it works for me, we know. Yeah, no, all that should be good. I think you might have mistyped your token, your Twitch token. It's the only thing I did other than the other thing with the wheel. So you haven't changed the token? I copy and pasted it. Yeah, maybe copy the wrong thing. I'll try here first. Right. It's the same. Okay. Okay. Open it in the terminal, write this, but switch Twitch token with your token. If you see this,
And then it goes back the other way.
So what we're seeing there is a maximum angle this reflected ray reaches before it turns around and goes back the other way. And this is really important. It means that over a range of impact parameters, a range of heights of the laser, the reflected beam comes out at essentially the same angle, which means the light is becoming concentrated at that angle. And a concentration of light rays is called a caustic. Curved surfaces all tend to create caustics, from coffee mugs to glasses or even just rippling water. Caustics create the light patterns we see by concentrating light rays. In the case of red light through a sphere of water, the maximum scattering angle, and hence this caustic, always occurs at 42 degrees below the horizontal. Since my sphere is made of glass rather than water, well, the angle is different, but the principle is the same. Now, you might ask, why does this reflected ray reach a maximum angle and then turn around? Well, the answer is just geometry. As I move the laser up the sphere, although the ray refracts down, the point on the back of the sphere where it reflects continues to move up until you get to this special point, which is about 7/8 the radius of the sphere. And here, the angle of incidence is so steep that the refracted ray stops hitting the back higher and starts hitting it lower. That is why the reflection turns around, and therefore we get a max
Where to go? We had that. What?